turning to our next story. It's a certain time now. That's right. Grab your surfboards. Say aloha. It's a Tulsi time. Oh, it's Tulsi Gabbard right there. Oh, wait, he's shocked. He's shocked. Oh, surfing. Oh, my God, he's shocked.
It's the moment he realized he could open his mouth that wide.
So, right now, why are we talking about Tulsi Gabbard? Well, even though she's not going to attend the 6th Democratic debate stage on December 19th, mind you, again, it's December 11th right now. Tomorrow will be the 12th at midnight is the last day where she could qualify. But, again, she has stated that she's not going to attend, even if she does qualify. But that window is closing, and it looks like it's not going to happen. But that's not the end for Tulsi Gabbard, because Axios did a data analysis in regards to which the presidential candidates are being talked the most online, or who has a large social media interaction. And turns out Tulsi Gabbard, both on Facebook and on Twitter, is number one against all the other candidates. Tulsi Gabbard generated an average of 858 social media interactions for each news story. Biden averaged 852. Bernie Sanders gathered 763, and Warren came in fourth with 648. So again, these are probably candidates that are being talked about the most. I mean, obviously, Biden, Sanders, and Warren are going to be talked about because they got name recognition and pretty stable campaigns. I mean, granted, with Biden, let's be real, super PACs are backing him up, and apparently that campaign is in a complete mess. But with Tulsi Gabbard, though, what I find interesting is that the reason why she's getting a lot of attention is because she's been making her presence seen on a lot of social media outlets like Joe Rogan, Jimmy Dore, Nico House. She's been interviewed by a lot of different independent media journalists. And, she's the one who took down effectively Kamala Harris and has made a real name for herself for the last debates, and it's been going viral for quite some time. Let's not forget, after the first two debates, she was the most searched candidate through the Google search engine. Not to mention she's, again, I have to say it again, she's stood up to Hillary Clinton by calling her the queen of warmongers, and she's been making her voice heard, especially in regards to talking about how the Democratic National Committee is pretty much rigging this presidential race and are favoring certain polls over others. Because mind you, there were two polls earlier this month where she did qualify above 4% to make it to the debate stage, but yet the DNC was saying that the poll from the Boston Globe doesn't count, and then the YouGov poll from South Carolina, where she got 5%, or I believe maybe 6% of that poll, it didn't count either. But yet she's bringing this to everyone's attention because it's like, okay, why is the DNC choosing which polls will be acknowledged and which will not be acknowledged? And obviously, corporate media has been smearing her, and people have been calling out corporate media due to the fact that, look, Tulsi Gabbard's not a Russian asset. She's not an Assad apologist, and she's not running third party. I mean, but yet every time people got to remind the media how to do their job.
Well, and when is the media going to learn that if they want her to lose, stop spreading lies about her, because that's what's having people search her on social media. So, one of the many things. Just so you know, we've missed 2 super chats so far.
Oh, we did? Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
so you want to scroll up to Naz Kalito.
Naz Kalito? Okay, I'll read those super chats after we're done with the story.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah, I think that I think the media shoots itself in the foot quite a bit as far as what it really wants, and I mentioned this last week that I feel like every single time something, some lie is spread about Tulsi Gabbard or Bernie Sanders, that actually just helps, or the media blackout, that what was it, PBS did on their hour-long show about the Democratic primary. They blacked Bernie Sanders out. Did they think no one was going to notice, and did they think that the people that are noticing are just going to say, oh, well, I guess Bernie Sanders isn't a viable candidate? So I
think that's exactly what they thought. Because that's what think about it. These are legacy organizations that have, for the last, since the 1996 Telecommunications Act was put in, this is exactly what they expect. They expect that they say something, then people follow through. I mean, Fox News literally decided that George Bush was president.
Right.
So they're doing what historically they've been able to do. They said Howard Dean shouldn't be in the race, so he screamed, okay, he's not in the race anymore.
Yeah.
So these are organizations that are acting as if they had the historical levels of power that they just no longer have anymore. And
I hope they never catch on to the internet.
Well,
but that's the thing, they don't, and they aren't. And again, literally, we'll talk about a little with CNN later, but like their business
CNN?
model is
What are you talking about?
collapsing. Their business model is falling apart, but they don't realize it. They still think they control the world when they're getting similar viewership to online news shows.
Right, and also it's also important to note out too that while Tulsi Gabbard's getting a media blackout, it's not effective. I mean, her presence online, she has a large amount of followers, and you know, the very fact that she outlasted Kamala Harris, who, mind you, at one point was considered to be the eventual front runner, or to go all the way up to the very end of the DNC convention. Tulsi Gabbard has superseded Kamala Harris, who had a lot more resources and accessibility to the establishment. So Tulsi Gabbard is here to stay. I think she has a large presence to where, you know, she's not going anywhere, and effectively she's made her name recognized throughout a lot of American households, whether you like her or not, whether you're a supporter or not. She's not going anywhere, and she's effectively come off on top against the media, against the DNC, and everything that they have tried to throw at her is not sticking. And in fact, she's able to throw it right back at the DNC and the corporate media. Yeah. So Tulsi Gabbard, no matter how this election turns out, won.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, after the election, assuming that she isn't the winner of the election, what she does next, because I think that she's paved quite a way for herself. She's a really strong progressive voice. She's even very much spanned across aisles. You know, a lot of my libertarian friends are very supportive of Tulsi Gabbard, and so it's no surprise to me when I see a story like, well, it was a little bit of a surprise to me when I saw a story about her having more social media hits than, you know, all of the front runners. So that was really surprising, and at the same time, it's not surprising that she's getting a lot of attention because she's the only anti-war voice. I mean, I think that's huge. And like I said, she's very much reaching across aisles in a way that we haven't seen in a long time, because she's touting a message that a lot of Americans agree with.
Right, and there's a couple other things to note, too. You know, Tulsi Gabbard has been the one to call out the hypocrisy of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and in Syria, the genocide that's happened in Yemen. Tulsi Gabbard is the one who's advocating for peace, so that clear dialogue, so that peace can be achieved in the Korean Peninsula, because, you know, if that place goes up in flames, a lot of people are going to be affected by a war if that happens in that area. Tulsi Gabbard is the one who called out the clear coup attempts that were happening in Venezuela and Bolivia. I mean, right next to Bernie Sanders, too. But, I mean, she is being unapologetic, and she's building a coalition of people who are socialists, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, Republicans, libertarians.
Just
I mean,
spans eternally.
And so that message is resonating. It's called building a coalition and convincing people to support your cause. And when we look at Tulsi Gabbard, she's doing something that the Democrats want to do in the general election. She's getting a large variety of supporters and constituents. Daniel, it's the final word.
And so, I think there's actually I was going to say something, but Duck Moore actually says it really well. Tulsi has mastered how to turn attacks into her own ammo. And I want to go further than that. Tulsi Gabbard, like, one thing that there's no one that has the backbone and is willing to take huge political risks the way Tulsi is at very upfront, like, cost to themselves. She was on track to be a huge player within the Democratic Party. If she had not left the DNC, she was second in command of very quickly, she could have easily been in 20 years a Speaker of the House within that system. I think that's completely possible. But no, she said, I don't like the way this is going, and it's more important to me that we deal with foreign policy this way. I'm going to leave and go to Bernie Sanders. And she was on every single shit list that Hillary Clinton could possibly shake a pen at right away. She has willingly taken on enormous amounts of risk to do what she thinks is right. Yeah. And that's not even something Bernie Sanders seems to be willing to do. So if nothing else, you're saying, where does Tulsi Gabbard go from here? Well, she's not running for re-election. I think she is confident and she's taking a risk, which is in her wheelhouse, which is her forte, to believe that someone, either she will win or someone that she's allied with will win, and she can join them.
So at the end of the day, Tulsi Gabbard, she's not going anywhere. And from the data that was collected by Axios, as well as has been covered by a lot of other media outlets, she has a presence on social media. And in this day and age, social media is superseding traditional media. So we're going to move on to our next story, but real quick, I want to read 2 super chats. Naz Kalido, if Corbyn wins, Julian Assange gets released. And then
I'm sure
also,
Paul makes happy Paul noises right now.
all right, I think Paul's happy about that. And then Dustin Price, you gave us a super chat as well. Thank you for that super chat. You guys are really helping this channel.